Hey everyone, I'm back. So thank you for watching part 1. This is part 2, the continuation of this experiment. Here I'm going to be using coconut oil, my mug, and behind that is my bowl of hot water. Now I'm only using 1 tablespoon of coconut oil since I'm using a small sample of my hair, so I don't really need that much. And I'm going to place this tablespoon into the hot water and allow the coconut oil to form into a liquid. While waiting, I'm going to let the egg sit in my hair for about an hour. That's what was recommended. And yeah, I'm just going to let it sit for an hour. The time now was 4:12 p.m. and I'll be coming back with an update at 5:12, and that's when I will wash the whole eggs out and then apply the coconut oil right after. Okay, so I'm back. Hopefully this footage is not blurry because I'm trying to rush. My camera's dying. I forgot to charge it after my trip from Miami. So let's make this part a little bit quick. I just put my coconut oil into my mug. I'm going to let this sit in my hair for about an hour. I showed you guys what time it was. So I will get back to you guys at 5:12 and put the coconut oil into my hair as the next step of this experiment. And I wanted to get back to you guys with some moisturized lips because y'all, my lips were so ashy. So I can't be on camera with some ashy lips, okay? So I know some of you guys are probably like, oh my gosh, her lips are ashy. Well, I came back, okay, with some moisturized lips, okay? So yeah, we're gonna continue on with this experiment, okay? So you guys stay tuned. Alright, so I'm back with the whole 1 hour wait. So we're going to move on to the coconut oil and we're going to wash this whole mess out of the hair. When you do this experiment, you're going to experience some hardening, and that's from the eggs because it does contain protein in it. So this is how the hair looks like right now, and I'm going to wash it out. Alright, so stay tuned. Alright, so my hair is soaked and wet, and hopefully you guys can see it's still intact. My rubber bands are still intact. I know you guys see some white stuff, some residue. Again, I washed my hair the other day, and after I wash my hair, I usually put in oil and shea butter. So that's kind of what's still in my hair, even though I use the egg protein. That's not gonna, you know, take out all the product. So this is how it looks. Soaked and wet. I washed out the egg, and you guys never seen my hair texture. Okay, so we're going to apply the coconut oil now, and I only used a teaspoon. And we're just going to apply that all in there. And I like to use my fingers to, you know, make sure that every strand is getting the sufficient amount of coconut oil. Alright, so I slowed this footage down to show you guys that I'm applying the coconut oil directly to my scalp as well as hair. The reason why I choose not to just run everything through the hair because I do have rubber bands in. So I am delicately and precisely rubbing the coconut oil in to make sure that I have every bit of the coconut oil in my hair. Next, I guess the next step is to wrap your hair again in, I guess, saran wrap or a plastic bag to keep the nutrients or keep the product into your hair. So let's go on into that. All my hair is in the bag, so I will catch up with you guys later. I want to do like a little update throughout the day, just to tell you guys how I feel about this experiment. I'm not going to show anything, or I'm not going to show the results throughout the day. I'm going to show the results the following day. So you guys can basically understand, you know, the time pattern, or the time frame that I'm doing this. So yeah. I do feel like doing this whole thing, I just feel like it's a protein treatment. I'll give you guys a later update of my opinions and my thoughts and all that stuff at the final end of the results. So yeah, so I guess that's it. Alright. So overall, my thoughts while doing this whole experiment, I really don't want to tell you guys my answer. So I guess we'll just wait till tomorrow. Alright, so stay tuned. Alright, so we're on to the next day of the experiment. It's 2:23 p.m. Tuesday, and I'm going to show you the results. Here's a picture of my length check. I just wanted to explain it more in depth. Now I have 1 and 2. I know the 2 appears to be backwards. That's how my camera picked it up. It's not a 6. But the 1 and 2 represents my hair when it's in its dry state. This was before the experiment. Now I have a little nick before the 2 and after the 1, and another nick after the 2. Those little nicks represent my hair in its wet state with only the egg product or egg solution in my hair. Mind you, these length checks was done before the experiment process, before it took place. Now the 1 represents my head, or my the way I position my head looking forward, and 2 represents when my head, or when I measured my hair looking towards the right. So clearly you can see that when you also look at a different way, you can drastically increase your length, or you can drastically decrease your length. So I just wanted you guys to take note of that. Okay, so we're going to measure my hair right now, and yeah, the texture is different. It's, like I said, it's a little bit moist, but it's dry. So I guess I would count that into the first variable with the 1 and 2 when it was dry, when I measured it, if you guys can understand what I'm trying to say. You guys can see that when I look straight, I did not gain an inch. I didn't gain any type of length when I look straight. And I'm pulling it, and it's still at 1. If you guys can see that. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I did not gain anything. Okay, when I look to my right, hopefully you guys can see that. This is Mark 2 looking to my right, and I did not gain anything. And this is the first variable. Both were straight. When I first measured it, my hair was straight. The second time measuring it, my hair, not straight, but dry. The second time measuring it, my hair was dry. So I'm going to wet it for you guys. I'm just going to apply water and show you guys how it will appear different, because the water allows the hair to expand naturally. Yeah, so I'm back. My hair is wet. It's the same amount of moisture that I had yesterday, and I'm going to show you guys how it looks differently compared to when it's wet and dry. When it's wet, I have a little mark right here, and this is in the same category when I'm looking straight. This little mark is for when I'm looking to the left. So when I'm looking straight, it's still at the little mark. When I'm looking to my right, and it's wet, it's still at the little mark. Okay, so that was the method, the two different variables that I showed you guys with my hair dry and wet after doing the whole experiment to my left side. Now, with only one variable, no alterations, no like anything tampering, just stuck to one pattern, one product, or one variable, and I'm going to show you the results of this one. Let's see if I can. Now, do you guys see this? There is absolutely no new growth in that little thing. I know you guys noticed that from the previous footage, but there's no new growth. And the reason for the rubber bands is to be able to hold the hair taut next to the scalp, because if there was new growth, the rubber bands would have moved. And you guys would see, you see how my texture is right here? You guys would see some of that texture up here. And there's nothing. I'm hoping that you guys can see the back as well. If I'm in the frame, hopefully you guys can see that. But yeah, so I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts of this experiment. Alright, I'm back, beautiful people. I had to cover my head up to at least look somewhat presentable. Any negative comments or whatever, you guys will be deleted and blocked. But yeah, I just want to give you guys my overall thought of this whole experiment. I showed you guys the many different variables on my left side and one variable on the right side. Me personally, I feel like the one variable with the rubber band works best to see if your hair has grown. If you want to try this experiment, I would say test it out first, so you're not let down at the results. So the big marks represent when it's dry, the little marks represented when it was wet. So the original little marks were the concoction that was applied to it, and me not having to have that concoction in my hair for an hour, or have the coconut oil in my hair overnight, or having the whole experiment take its whole toll or process overnight. So all I did was put the egg in, and drastically you guys saw a change in the length check compared to when it was dry. On this side, there was no change at all. I did not gain any length. There was no movement of the rubber bands. Now, what I believe this is I don't want to say a fluke, because I do not want to disrespect the person that created this experiment, but I do not believe in this experiment. I believe the hypothesis was not accurately thought out. Reason being is I don't think hair can grow overnight like that. Yes, hair can grow overnight, and each day it's a process. However, I don't think hair can grow overnight that fast. People are looking at results like they're seeing 1 inch gain or a ½ inch overnight. When you think about it, how can I better explain my whole thought process? If hair grows that fast, I would expect people to experience a side effect. Reason being is because your strands are growing at a faster rate through its pores. It's being pushed up towards you know, to its maximum at a speed that it's not really adjusted to. So I would feel that one would experience headaches during the night, excruciating headaches due to your strands being pushed up that fast. Also, maybe some irritation, maybe even a little bit of bleeding, because the average growth rate is 0.5 inches a year. Not a year, 0.5 inches a month, creating 6 inches a year. That's the average growth rate for a person. It is very common that some people experience less than that average growth rate. Some people may experience about 1 inch of the average growth rate. So going to an inch overnight, our body is not used to that. So that's the reason why I do not believe in this whole experiment. The products, however, using this egg batter or eggs and the olive oil and the coconut oil, I do believe those products do help with the increasing of your hair growth. But I feel like you would have to apply that product on a consistent regimen, maybe once a month, because this is really a protein mask. People use this as a protein treatment. They'll put it in their hair overnight or maybe just an hour, because the eggs are high in protein. And some people would add avocado oil or avocado, mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is high in protein. And they would add another form of carrier oil. So that's really what it is a protein treatment. So imagine you using ORS protein treatment, and you're just applying it to your hair overnight, and you're expecting a growth, an increased growth rate. So that's the reason why I really do not believe that this method will help, you know, promote that fast of a growth rate. Now, there is another method called the inversion method. I do believe in that method because that's doing a position for 7 days, and that certain position help increase the blood circulation. And to help promote fast hair growth, you would need increased blood circulation. So that's the only method that I truly believe and that would help increase blood circulation, is the inversion method. If you guys want me to do an experiment just like this, maybe with the rubber bands instead, to show you guys if this really worked, leave a comment down below and I'll present that experiment to you guys so you guys can see firsthand if it works or not. Also, I know there's going to be some people that may say, you know, well, it worked for me, or you did it a different way, or what have you. Please keep in mind this method that I showed you with the rubber bands. I've seen somebody else do that method too, and they've applied the rubber band method to, like, let's say they used a hair growth pill and they did the inversion method. They applied that method to 3 different methods, and you've seen like different results. So that's the reason why I wanted to do the rubber band method as well. But to those that, you know, say that they've reached or they received their results, please look at the different variables that you have applied to your results. Please keep that in mind when doing the experiment, or if you have done the experiment, properly look at how you're applying the methods. Is your hair wet prior to doing the measurement? When you're doing the measurement again at your final result, is your hair wet or dry? Are you looking the same way? Are you using the same hair strand when you're measuring it? So those are the factors that you want to look at. So those are my opinions. These are my results. And I hope you guys are pleased with this video. If you want to do the experiment for yourself, maybe do the same method that I did to see if it has worked for you or whatever. But these are my opinions. And yeah, so I guess I'll see you guys next time in another video. Alright, stay tuned for that.